Hey guys, good morning. This is John Big Dog Wagner coming at you again. Found the realization to do another video. I've been getting a lot of feedback from you guys. Thank you very much. I have this morning I've spoken with a couple drivers who are currently driving for Super Ego, and I've also spoken with a couple people who want to come to Super Ego. One guy that I was talking to, which is what gave me the realization, he's following what I said about $2 a mile. And I realized that I put a lot of focus on you want to do at least $2 a mile. I realized that I put a lot of focus on when you break down the load, the weight, the pay, the miles, when you qualify your load, the details. And he's doing that. And he's getting good loads. He's getting good loads. He is. But yet, as he hit me up, he's like, but I'm not making money. He's making money, but he's not making great money. He's getting the payout, but he's not making great money. The reason why is because his delivery times. When you qualify your load, you also got to look at the time it takes to deliver a load. Okay? Like I told you guys, my minimum is $500 a day. My minimum's actually going up, but you know, for information purposes, my minimum for a long time was $500 a day. If I couldn't make $500 a day, it wasn't worth it for me. You know, saying is make it make sense. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through that. I'm gonna give you an example. Okay. So let's say you get a run 2,000 miles, 40,000 pounds, for $4,000. For those of you who drive already, you'll realize Amazon. First thing comes to mind, Amazon. Amazon got a lot of loads. 2,000 miles, 40,000 pounds, 45,000 pounds, 4,000 pounds. Okay. So in a run like that, you know, at $4,000, 25% goes to the company. So your number is actually 3,000 miles. It's a heavy load, 2,000 miles. You're going to fill your tank up at least 3 times. So $1,500 to fuel. That leaves you $1,500 for your payout. All right. You've also heard me say you want to try to pay for your truck and everything within 3 days. $500. 3 days, $1,500, the truck is made. So let's say, and this is also happening with Amazon runs, your deliveries are 5 days, not in 3 days. Well, you're still making $1,500 on a run, which is good. But now you're only making $300 a day, which is bad. Why is it bad? Because now it takes you 5 days to make your truck payment. Your truck, trailer, insurance, all that stuff. Now it takes you 5 days just to cover your payment, which only leaves you 2 days to make your money. If you stay consistent with that, $300 a day, your take home is $600. If you're consistent with the $500 a day, truck payment's made in 3 days, 4 more days of $500 a day, your take home is $2,000. Which would you rather take home? Make it make sense. So if you're working all week and you're only able to do 2 runs, and those 2 runs you're only covering 2,000, 3,000 miles, your delivery time is way too long. If you're running hard, if you're running like you should be, there's no reason why you shouldn't be in the ballpark minimum of 4,000 miles a week. If you just run your 700 miles a day, 6 days is 4,200. Seventh day you do your 34. Make it make sense. So if you're only running 2,000 miles a week, you're light. But yet you're on the road every day. That means you're running what, 500 miles a day? Well, you should be running 700 miles a day. And in the trucks they have there, and the truck that you will be issued, purchasing, whatever, on a good day, there's no reason why you can't run 700 miles a day. 10 hours of driving at 70 miles an hour is 700 miles. The trucks run between 72 and 76 miles an hour. So on a good day, 10 hours is 720 to 760 miles a day. And then you also have that 11th hour, which gives you another 72 to 76 miles. Now, you're not always going to have good days. You're going to have days that you're going to be in the mountains. You're going to lose time. You're going to have days that we're going to come up on an accident, traffic, freeway shut down. Part of the business. But you should at least be able to average, if you have a bad day every day, you should at least be able to average 600 to 650 miles a day, right? 600 miles, 6 days is 3,600 miles. You're still in that 4,000 mile a week ballpark. So make it make sense. Make it make sense. A lot of times you'll see loads. I've gotten them, I've done them. 1,000-mile run or 500-mile run. But because they've had problems with people, or I should say 500 to 1,000. But they've had problems with people getting it there on time. So they make it a 2-day run, 3-day run. And the low, you might have $500, $700 profit. That's your take home. If you can figure out a way to run it in one night, you make $500, $700 one night. If it's a 2-day run, you make it $250 to $350 a day. If it's a 3-day run, see where I'm going with this? So make it make sense. Make it make sense for you. My minimum for a long time was $500 a day. And I got to a point where I got good at making sure I was making my $500 a day. I have no problem running 1,000 miles a day. Now you guys will tell me, you just said on a good day. Yeah. My truck runs 76 miles an hour. That means on a good day, 10 hours, I get 760 miles. That 11th hour, I'm over 800 miles on a good day. So for 1,000 miles, that leaves me less than 200 miles. If it's an early morning pickup, I run my shift, I do my 10, I get up in the morning, I run that last 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I'm at my delivery. Made my money in one night. If it's a late pickup, I do what I gotta do. Now, I know some of you guys are out there, well, 11 hours, let's be honest. If we're in trucking, ain't nobody surgeon, ain't nobody a criminal defense lawyer. We've all come from jobs, warehouse worker, caregiver, fast food, Walmart. We've all come from jobs where we put in more than our required 8 hours. If for no other reason than the time and a half is nice. Especially when you ain't making $40, $50 an hour. Time and a half is real nice. Especially in the holidays and stuff like that. Time and a half is real nice. So it's not unfathomable with those jobs that we've had to put in a 12-hour day, right? Ain't nobody rich. If they was rich, they wouldn't have jobs like that. So ain't nobody living in prime location. So with traffic and things like that, you're driving at least an hour to and from work. So for your job, you're putting in a 14-hour day. You put that same 14-hour day in your truck and you drive 1,000 miles. Again, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm just letting you know the logic behind it. So, if you can make $500 a day, $700 a day, you should be taking home well over $2,000 a week. If the load makes sense. If you get one of these loads that's 3,000 miles for 45,000 pounds, $4,000, before you even look at delivery time, you already know that load don't make sense. I wouldn't even drive that. With me being willing to do the things I'm willing to do to make my money, I would tell my dispatcher, you must be sick. No. But if you break down the load and qualify the load and the load makes sense, look at your delivery time. If you broke down the load, you already know what you're making. Look at your delivery time and divide that by the amount of days you're going to be on the road. Divide your payout by the amount of days you're going to be on the road. Is your payout going to be over $500 a day, or is it going to be less? Is it going to be something you can live with? I mean, I've taken jobs where my payout is $400 a day. My actual truck payment is $1,250. 3 days of 400 is $1,200. So I'm $50 light going into day 4 on my truck payment. Was it still worth it? Yeah. Especially if I know I'm running to an area where I'm going to get a load where it's going to be 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 miles for $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. It's worth it. Because then I'll make my money on the back end. But 5 days just to pay for my truck? No. You gotta get me something else. I will turn that down in a heartbeat. And dispatchers that are not very good dispatchers, you know, they'll tell you, well, there's nothing really coming out. At least if you take this, sitting there, you ain't gonna make no money. Sitting here, I might not make no money, but you know what else I ain't gonna do? I ain't gonna spend no money. If a load's gonna force me to come out of pocket, so instead of me making money, I'm losing money, why the hell would I want to take it? I'm going to basically pay them to drive their stuff? No. I will put my feet up, turn my TV on, make me something to eat, and relax. I ain't driving that. Call me a hoe for the money? Great. I'm a high dollar hoe. You're going to pay me. I ain't going. That's it. So, make it make sense. My minimum is $2 a mile, $500 a day. If I can cover that $500 a day, I'm on the load. Now, $2 a mile is not always going to get you $500 a day. But $500 a day will get you $2 a mile. At least close to it. So when you break down your load, when you qualify your load, you got to make it make sense. Break it down to a daily earning, to a daily rate. Look at how many days it's going to take you just to make your truck payment. Make it make sense. And then if it makes sense, take the load. If it doesn't make sense, tell me you want something else. If a dispatcher tries to threaten you, get a new dispatcher. They work for you. There's no reason why they should be threatened. If you don't take this load, you're going to sit there, you don't get nothing else. Tell them, okay, thank you, day off. And get you a new dispatcher. Get you somebody who's willing to hustle, who's at least willing to match your hustle. Because that person ain't going to tell you that. That person's going to tell you, oh, okay, you don't want this one? All right, let me see what else I can find. I'll call you back in 30. I got this load over here. It's a 100-mile deadhead, total 1,200 miles, but it's paying $2,500. It's got you $2 a mile with the deadhead included. Okay, when does it deliver? It's all part of the qualification of the load. Says it delivers in 3 days. Oh. Is it a fixed delivery? Is it one of those like an Amazon or something like that? If it's a fixed delivery, oh. If it's not a fixed delivery and you can deliver it early, okay, how early am I allowed to deliver? And delivering it early, does it make sense? Okay. load. If trying to deliver early puts you out of your realm, your comfortable zone, for what you're willing to drive, don't take the load. But when you qualify your load, it's not just about $2 a mile. It's also about how much time they're going to give you to deliver. I used to have a run, a regular route that I figured out and set up myself that put me home every week. Pick it up in California, run it out to Indiana. It was between a Thursday night and a Friday morning delivery. I would deadhead from Indiana to Kentucky, pick up the load, run it back to Phoenix. That was a Monday delivery. Deadhead to California, and pick up that load to go to Indiana. With that route, by the time all was said and done, I was averaging a little over $3,000 a week payout. I was home every week, same time, dinner with the family, time with the kids. It was a regular schedule. It was working. The problem was Amazon didn't do that run just once a week. That run went out several times a week. And drivers were not responsible. And it wasn't being delivered on time. They had a lot of problems with on-time delivery. My deliveries were on time. But other drivers that weren't on time. So then Amazon said, we need to give more time for this run. We need to schedule the appointment 5 days out instead of 4 days out or 3 days out. We got to schedule it 5 days out. The 5 days out messed up my schedule, because then I couldn't make my pickup in Kentucky to go to Phoenix. 5 days out paid less money. For the daily payout, wasn't worth it. So I had to change it up and do something different. But it's all based on what you're willing to do, what you're trying to do, what makes sense to you. And if it makes sense to you, run it. If it doesn't make sense, by all means, say dispatcher, I want something else. But the only way you're going to know if it makes sense is if you fully qualify your load before you say yes or no. If you don't qualify your load, you'll be like these guys, I'm working all week and I ain't making the money. Alright, anyway, be safe out there.